The overtime win kept a shot at the Rose Bowl on the table for Purdue. But to maintain control of their Pasadena destiny, the Boilermakers had to knock off 12th-ranked Ohio State.
We felt like we were going to have a good football game with them. We felt like we had a real chance, particularly at home.
Adding to the drama, comments by Buckeye linebacker Joe Cooper questioning the toughness of Drew Brees.
We knew what that game meant, and then all of a sudden you throw that in the mix.
The game sort of went off as expected, except that the turnovers started to pile up on Drew Brees.
I ended up having 3 interceptions in the first half. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
An 83-yard punt return by Nate Clemens gave the Buckeyes a 20-10 edge after 3 quarters, setting the stage for 15 of the most dramatic minutes in Boilermaker football history.
From a psychological standpoint, one of the most up and down fourth quarters in the history of the program.
We couldn't get open in the first half, and we started to get open in the second half.
Brees knows it, in trouble, waits, he's got to throw it out of the end zone. Touchdown!
You never fall asleep on Brees because you could be the first option or the last, and he'd find you.
They never adjusted. I knew I was getting the ball as soon as I lined up. And I was able to get in the end zone. That was a big one for us.
We thought the game was kind of in our hands if we could just control the offense in the last few minutes.
How do you get the clock to keep ticking to ensure victory? That's always the issue you have in the spread offense, is the 4-minute drills.
I'm thinking to myself, before the play even, the worst thing that can happen here is an interception or a turnover. And they bring a pressure up the middle, and sure enough, it's Joe Cooper. I was a little woozy after that hit. And to be perfectly honest with you, I was so mad at myself for throwing the pick that I was trying to knock myself out. I was trying to knock him out, and I was trying to knock myself out.
He tried to knock himself out, like just to erase the mistake he made. At least he did something right. And that's, dude, you don't hear quarterbacks say that, dude. Like, you never hear that.
I think everybody said, well, there we go again. It's going to be another 30 years till we go to the Rose Bowl because Ohio State's got this game done.
Everybody's wondering, they had seen the Drew Brees magic before. Did he have another comeback in him?
Trailing 27-24 with just over 2 minutes remaining, Drew Brees stood 64 yards away from changing the course of the Boilermakers season and program.
I dealt in a little self-pity there to have a throwaway result in the leading score of the game with 2 minutes to go. Just didn't seem right. This guy deserves better than this in a finish.
Ike Moore, one of our seniors, pulled me aside. He was a soft-spoken guy and just said, hey, what'd your mom always tell you? You break it, fix it.
It was a way to kind of clear it and say, hey, put it behind you. Hey, if you broke it, go fix it, right?
Yeah, they bat down the first pass, so now here we are at 2nd and 10. And I remember I called one of my favorite plays in the offense.
Drew gets in the huddle and calls twins right, 74XZ pull. It's supposed to go to John Staniford or Vinny Sutherland.
Slot to the left, slot to the right. Cedric Brown stays at home alongside Drew Brees. Drew takes the snap from center.
And it was just this progression of, am I throwing the hitch? Am I throwing the fade? Am I throwing this, skinny post down the middle of the field?
Drew read through his progression. Didn't see those 2 guys open initially, so he went to his 3rd option, A.T. Simpson's crossing route. That's not open.
And then here's Seth Morales, the epitome of Mr. Hustle, running this deep post route that he might get this ball thrown to him 1 in 1,000.
I took a lot of pride in just running my routes hard. I wasn't the biggest or the fastest receiver, but I always kind of went that extra effort.
I launch it, and as it's in the air, I'm watching him run what looks like about as fast as he can run. And I'm just saying, please be there, please be there.
The crowd goes quiet, it's dark, the ball's up in the air, and you've got 3 or 4 seconds just to kind of run and think to yourself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Seth, catch the ball, do not drop this.
Drew takes the snap from center, looks, has time to throw, there's an out deep, way downfield, grab by the hand, he's gonna score, touchdown Purdue,
it's just overcome with emotion, just kind of drop down to a knee. Thank God for that opportunity. And the next thing I know, Matt Light is bear hugging me, shaking me to death.
And he comes off the field, and I shake his hand, and he said, "I told you I would."
The first, second, and third progression get that 99% of the time. 99.9% of the time. That just shows where we were at as a team, and Seth Morales epitomized everything we preach.
For me, it was one of those things where you've got this walk-on that wasn't supposed to play at Purdue. So it was a special moment, to say the least.
To be able to stand in there and make the play, the pass, as they call it in West Lafayette, from Drew Brees to Seth Morales, will never be forgotten in the history of the Purdue football program.
This, folks, is what they call an instant classic. You won't see a better last 3 minutes of any football game.
I think it really solidified what Joe Tiller was doing at Purdue. And it showed that, hey, you can win with this basketball and grass style. Without a doubt, it arguably was the greatest play in Purdue history and one of the biggest games in Purdue history.
Well, I guess I had to redeem myself somehow. That'd be the best way.
Are you smelling roses?
Well, I'm smelling them, but they're still 2 games away.